Hi, welcome back to Dow Twang. I'm Dave. So we're kind of into the middle of the week here, and if you were looking for stuff over the weekend, my apologies. I always, you know, not always, obviously, but most of the time, almost always, I put stuff out, every week and over the weekend sometimes, and sometimes right around that Thursday or Friday is probably the most common time. Sometimes I'll get caught up in, with stuff and wait till the weekend to post something. So it has been really busy around here. Now, I took time off from teaching for like the last month. I had some pretty serious dental stuff to do and like some pretty serious yard work. Like somebody was regrading like half the yard, like serious stuff, skid steers, out here, whatever. And that all went pretty well. But the weather has been a monster. I mean, we just got our power back on after like a complete day. This is the second time we've lost power in about 2 weeks. Yesterday it was bad. There was a tornado that touched down like a mile from our house down here, and people weren't hurt that we know of. Nobody was killed. It must have been a really small tornado that touched down briefly. But out here on the highway, there was probably 24 telephone poles, in a row, and like the kind of old poles you see on a highway in the Midwest, holding like a lot of, like the whole town's worth of electricity, the whole, half the county, just down. There's a little airport out there right where it happened, and there's just like, metal roofing, like it's just wild with that roofing. It's just giant ribbons of like twisted metal everywhere, and there's a bunch of storage places out there, and they just got, just ripped the roof off of them and stuff. So we live in Southwest Missouri. They call it the four state. It's like Arkansas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, like all together right here. Anyway, that's what's been going on. So here's the fun part, though, is and what I wanted to share with you today, along with some guitar playing, is in this time off that I've had, let's see if this will show up on here. A while back, I asked my wife, I'll just put it up here for a second. It's called, let me look at it, let me see if we have our Japanese-speaking friends out here can help us out, but it's The Great Wave off Kanagawa by Hokusai. Maybe I'm saying that somewhat close to being accurate. And let me get that off because it's glaring at. Anyway, it's a paint by numbers. A while back, I asked my wife, I said, do people still do paint by numbers? And she's like, yeah, I guess, And I was thinking something that would just be like pretty laid back. I mean, this thing, I worked on this for like 3 weeks. And, not show off about it or whatever, but I kind of I liked it enough to, put it in this frame and stuff. And it was really fun. It was something different than just playing guitar for me, something creative. And I couldn't do anything like this in like visual arts without, something like paint by numbers or whatever, right? But what I wanted to, not to get into, a lot of corny metaphors and stuff about it or whatever, but it's pretty straightforward. Like when you're doing this, there's a website that you buy these on, the kits, and there's people that have reviews and showing theirs after it's done, and they're all different, like really different, right? Same lines, same numbers, same paint kit, same brushes. So you can see where I'm going with this. How that can relate to what we're doing here with music and playing an instrument and guitar playing is that it doesn't matter what the source material is that we're working on. Every single time that it's done, it's different. It's individualized. And, while I was doing this, it's very, depending on what you like, some people, one of my friends makes models, elaborate models of like old cars and stuff. I mean, it's, you know, it's serious stuff. I don't even know how long it takes them to make one, but it's like the detail is stunning on some of them. But when you're doing stuff like that, your mind drifts, and I had a hard time seeing some of the regions on this paint by number thing was really, tiny. Anyway, I realized after a while, there's no way I can do this perfect. Not even close. Like, I'm not even sure what number that is, if that's an 18 or a 16. I was just like, okay. I look at the picture on the box. I'm like, all right, you know what? So at first, I'm trying to do it like so precisely, right? And then, you know, a few days into it, I'm like, I got a magnifying glass in this hand, I set up a light and whatever. I mean, it turned into a whole project out here in the dining room. And now my wife's doing one. She's much more detailed, you know, focused and skilled than I am or whatever. So hers is like a Gustav Klimt thing, like it's pretty elaborate. She's still working on it. But I realized at some point, like, you got to split the difference, man. You got to just get that brush on there, and if it goes the wrong way, you got to just back over it and make that your new shape. That's just got to be, that curve just isn't going to be where the line is. It's just, you're just going to have to, make a different curve, cover it up, come back with the other paint, and lay back over it. And by the time you start doing the density of this kind of work when you're doing this, is, there's no way that you can keep track of it all perfectly. Like, at some point you're just having to make pretty much your own decisions. I'm going to fill in with this color. This looks like this would look good right here. The background of the sky and stuff, it had all these intricate things at the end of it. I was just like, I'm just going to touch this up with, the numbers that it says are involved in this region, but I'm just going to paint it, right? So I was pretty pleased with how it came out, but more than anything, it meant something because it was like, looks like me. I don't know what my painting looks like because it's the first one I've ever done, right? But apparently that's what it looks like. And it doesn't look like any of the other examples that I saw on the website or whatever. Very similar. So we think about Tao of Twang and all this stuff that we do on YouTube, right? It's all good, right? You get an idea. There's some, a shape to things. There's like we're going to use this scale. We're going to use this cage shape. We're going to use this chord form in this position, this part of the neck. And we're just, okay, I'm going to use a tiny brush. I'm going to use a bigger brush. Whatever. And it works out. And it sounds like you. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and post this one here, and I'm going to go ahead and put the backing track up. Over the next couple of days, I'm going to come back over this backing track and break down a little bit of stuff that I did in that intro, and talk to you about how you can, some ideas, some lines and colors that you can use to play by numbers over this thing, over this backing track. But go ahead and watch the intro, use A minor pentatonic, and probably the C major or A minor natural scale if you want. Mostly pentatonic is what I used, A minor pentatonic. And the chords are D minor, G, A minor. So enjoy the backing track. Just wanted to make sure I got checked in with everybody, at some point in the middle of this week while we're kind of putting things back together here and getting back on track after all these outages and weather issues and the re-excavation of the yard. Bad timing on, don't excavate your yard, right before a major system of 3 days worth of thunderstorms or whatever. I don't know what I was thinking, honestly. My wife's confused about my choices on that, whatever. But check it out. Have some fun. Leave me some comments. Let me know how y'all are doing. Appreciate you, and I'll see you in just a couple of days. We'll get another one in here before the end of the week. All righty. See ya.